Hey, what is up, Squadron? Today we're going to talk about JavaScript, and this is part 3 of a 3-part series wherein I teach you to code from zero experience, so let's get started. Okay, so we're back on this Windows machine where we made 2 files last time. One was called index.html and the other was style.css. So let's just open those real quick and take a peek. So index is basically just a hello world, and then you can say get doggo and you submit a button to get a picture of a dog, which we'll implement today using JavaScript. And then the other one is just to change the color of the background of our website and to make it centered. So we just say center the text, background color. This is like a light blue. So if we open up this index file on our machine, it will pop open the web browser, and that's it. Basically, it just has a button. When you click it, it does nothing. But today we're going to implement that button and make it show you a picture of a cool dog, just like this website does. Let's check it out. You just kind of similar to this. Click whatever you want about your life, and then you submit, and it tells you like what kind of dog to get. So we're gonna have the same API in the background doing the dog picture fetch. And yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a JavaScript file. So to do that, you just open up your terminal and you say touch, and we'll just call it script.js for JavaScript. So now if we look in this folder, we see that new file there, script.js. So let's open up that folder, or sorry, that file. Okay, so it's empty. So what we're gonna need to do is, let's just write one thing in here to make sure this is all working. So what's really nice about computer programming is when you make something new, you just kind of want to make sure it even turns on to begin with before you get more complicated. So let's write a message just saying, hi from script, and just save. So what this is a JavaScript function that will just print to the console of a website, and I'll show you guys how to open that up and see that it actually works. So one other step we need to do is we need to link this script.JavaScript file in our index file. So if you look at the beginning of last video, we linked our style.css file into this index.html file. We're going to do something similar with this JavaScript file, except for we put it in a section called script. So let's just say script and then source equals, we're going to give the file path of our script.JavaScript file, script.javascript, and we're just going to close that out. So now let's just refresh our website, and we don't see any message yet, right, for the hello world. But what you need to do is you right click and you say inspect, and then it opens up this behind the scenes view of your website. So you need to go to the console right down there. Aha, you see this little message here, hi from script.js1. And if you click on that, it'll actually go to your file and show you where that happened. So we know that this file is properly linked now in the index.html file. So now we're going to have to wire up this button to actually go do something in the script when it's clicked. So the way we do that is something called a click listener, on click listener. Okay, so into our button section here, we're just going to say on click equals, and we're just going to call it button clicked, and just parentheses to signify that it's a function. Close those quotes, and yeah, let's now implement this function. So over here, we're in the script. Let's get rid of this message just because we know it now works. And so what we say for the keywords in JavaScript is function. We'll just say it's button, lowercase button clicked, and we're gonna say what we do in here. So now let's just write a message just to make sure we're actually doing this correctly. Log button was clicked. Okay, and that's about good from there. We need a semicolon to end that line. That's always a pesky little semicolon. Most languages require something like that, so just make sure you know, depending on your language. For JavaScript, yes, we need that. Okay, so now if we go to our website and we refresh this, let's go to the console on the side. So right now nothing has happened, but if I click submit, boom, we get that message, button was clicked. Okay, so now we know our function is working properly, and we know it's connected to our submit button properly. And now we need to implement the meat of the function. So actually have it do 3 things. One is make a request to an API, which stands for Application Program Interface. We're going to use the dog API, so let's just check this out. Dog API. This one. Dog API, and it's free, which is nice. So we're going to make a call to this API, which is basically just another website waiting there for you to request something from it. We'll talk about APIs in another video, so subscribe for that one if you want to see it in the future. So let's make a variable really quick to start with our URL that we're going to send a request to. So we'll just say var, and then we'll just say URL is going to be equal to, let's quote that, let's close that just before we forget, and then we got to go find the URL that we need. So let's go read the documentation really quick. Okay. So this, if you put this URL, you'll get back JSON, which is like JavaScript object notation. Basically, it's like information about all of the breeds if you want that. But we don't really want all of the breeds. We just want to find a specific breed and get one image of that breed. So let's just use this. So it starts with HTTPS, hypertext transfer protocol, secure, // dog.ceo, that's their website, /API, application program interface, and then past this point, that's kind of how they decide to organize their API. So they've decided to organize it by breed. So they said, okay, breed / you give a breed that you want a picture of, /images /random, and it'll grab you that picture. So let's just copy this. And we're going to do something called hard coding, because you see how this breed, I can change and get a different breed if I wanted to. For the purposes of this video, to just get started here, we're going to just have only one breed be possible. But like you saw in this quiz, depending on your answers, you'll get a different breed, and that logic is all implemented in the back end. So that sort of thing we won't do today, but maybe I'll do another video like that another time. To keep things simple, we'll just stay on this breed, Affenpinscher. Like the video if you have one of those. So let's take that name. I'll try and spell it correctly. Hopefully I do. Okay, images /random. Okay, so now we've made that URL. And so we need to go actually make the request in JavaScript. So the way we do that is something called fetch. And let me just really quickly change, that's random because we're making a video, website about dogs, and we're going to go fetch something. Haha, get it? Okay, so let's put that at the top just to signify to us like, hey, we've entered this function. Let's then make the URL. Okay, and then we're going to say fetch. Okay, and we're going to say URL. So we're going to say to JavaScript, hey, go to this website, go to this URL, get me whatever response you get back. So we're going to fetch the URL. Let's put a semicolon there. And then we need to save the result somewhere. So let's just save it in a var. So we'll just say results, and we'll save that. And let's click here. Let's console log that result. Just like this, and see what's inside. So let's make sure this is actually working. Okay, let's refresh this bad boy. Submit. Okay, it's a promise. Pending, fulfilled, promise result, response, body. There's a bunch of different things in here. Let's see, response, URL, text, JSON. JSON's probably what we'll need. Okay, so this is something I forgot to mention, I guess. When you make a request to an API, things are done asynchronously, which means you don't immediately get back the thing you wanted. you can wait for it. It's like sending an order, like an online order. You don't like immediately get the item. You have to get it shipped to you, right? So that's kind of how this works. You basically have made an order for like an image of a dog, and they're processing your request and they'll send it to you, but only once they're ready. So let's wait for the response first, which is a special keyword, await, right before the fetch function. So this basically is just going to block our code and say, hey, don't continue until you have that result, and then print the result. So let's try again. Oh, here's our first error in this video series. So it's saying that keyword is only valid in asynchronous functions. So we need to label our function up here as asynchronous, which you do with this async. So save that. Okay, that error is now gone. Let's submit. Button was clicked. Do you see our response is a little bit different this time? No longer is it just a promise. That's kind of like your order confirmation when you make a request, like buy something online. You get a confirmation that's like, okay, we got the info, we'll send it to you right away. That's what we got before with that promise. But now we got the actual thing because we said await. We want to wait till we get the actual thing. So here we go. We have some body response, prototype response. Let's go try and find the picture, actually, because they do send a picture back. We just need to figure out how to read it out of this response. Let's just call var JSON is going to be result.json. Okay, so that's a function in our result that's going to call and get the JSON, hopefully. Let's refresh. Click submit. Button was clicked. And then I need to print it, right? Let's see what's inside. Let's see JSON, switch that, print, refresh, submit, pending. Okay, so probably the same idea. We need to await that because it's a promise. It's like an order confirmation to get the actual JSON. So let's await that. Refresh, submit. There we are. So now we get back the URL to the image and the status, success. Awesome. Okay, so now we need to, let me just write this out in a comment. Here, we'll jump down here. This is how you write a comment in JavaScript. You just do little // So we say, we need to put that image on our website dynamically. Dynamically just means on the user input or if something changes, we want to do it now when this function is called. So let's make an empty image placeholder. It won't show anything for the moment, but it's just img, and then, well, let's see. We'll just make it empty at first, and we're gonna name it something so that we can know which image tag. We can grab it from the JavaScript and we can put our image into there. So we first need to name it. We'll just say image ID equals doggo. And so we'll just save that. JavaScript, we need to grab that out and put it into our image block. So let's see. Okay, so let's just try it this way. Document, that's like the whole HTML document. So document dot get element by ID, and then we're going to give the ID we just gave to the image block. And let's just see really quick. We're going to want to change the source of that image. So one kind of cool thing here, let's do something kind of neat. So let's say image, we're going to get the image, but right now we're not doing anything to it. What we're going to do is we're going to set what's called a breakpoint on this line of code in our web browser to then see what the actual value is of our image when we get it back. Here, let me just console, just in case. Console.log var. Okay, so let's refresh. All right. And then, unexpected token var. Let's see, did I mess up? Var image. What's wrong with this? Here, one thing I'll just check. Unexpected token, var at line 10. Which one is line 10? All right, so down at the bottom, you can see these little line numbers. And by the way, this is actually a really hard way of coding. I found my bug. But we're gonna go over like better ways to code, because as you can tell, like I'm spending time debugging this, but it's a little bit hard when it's just plain text like this is. You can use something called an IDE, like integrated development environment, or you can use something like a text editor, like actually for code, like Visual Studio Code or Atom or things like that. So we'll go over those in future videos. So like and subscribe if you want to be a part of that. But anyways, this is my actual bug right here, our first bug. So a bug is essentially just when your program doesn't do what you want it to do, and we don't want it to error out like that. So what I had done was I put var image, and I got the image, and then I console.log var. That's actually wrong. Var is a type. So we don't want to print the type. We want to print the actual image we got back, like the object. And that's an object-oriented programming concept, but we'll go over those in another video. Essentially, I just need to switch that var with the image. And let's try that again. Yeah, it's kind of like if you were to say Mr. Jones, and it's like you want to know the name of the guy, so you're trying to print Jones, but what I did instead was I printed Mr., which doesn't tell us the name of the guy, so that was wrong. And if we click this again, button was clicked, nice, image ID doggo. Okay, and then so let's set a breakpoint, right? So sources, script.javascript. Let's do this like little red dot right there, and let's submit again. Boom, do you see how we're now, it says paused in debugger, and then over here, we have a little yellow highlighted line that says, hey, we're right here. And the way you can jump over is right here, step over function call. So step over, and you can like hover over the image object, and it gets you the stuff that comes from it. So one thing is source. Do you see there? Source, sorry, let me go down. Source is empty, right? It's an empty string. But what we're gonna do in our code is change that source to be the tag, or like the URL that we got back from our request. So let's go here, and here, let's just start a new line. So image.source equals, and we're just gonna say JSON.message. And let's see if that works. Hopefully I don't have syntax errors. Here, we'll unpause that, refresh. All right, so here, let's just submit. Boom, did you guys see that? We got our freaking doggo picture, and you can tell the submit button's a little off to the side. But guys, this is how you code. Like, essentially, you get a goal in mind. You try and write down what your goal is. For example, we need to put that image on our website. And then you just go step by step. It's really nice if you have a better text editor, which I'll show you in a future video. It's also really nice if you can set breakpoints and things like that. I think coding goes a lot better that way. You can figure out what's wrong with your stuff if that happens. And thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Leave a like, that really helps the channel. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.